Talking about crossing T's and dotting I's, the government looks like it's going to face a battle in the Parliament over the health reform deal that Kevin Rudd signed off on with the states earlier in the year. The coalition has confirmed it will oppose the legislation in next week, in part because it seems as though that some of the guarantees you made in that deal about the states handing over 30% of their GST in return for the health overhaul is unravelling. They're being asked to sign over much more than that.
Fran, that's completely untrue. Every word of that question completely untrue. The health reforms were always predicated on GST handover. The average figure is a third of the GST. It has always varied from state to state.
That's not what we understood at the time, that it was an average.
Well, Fran, that was very, very clear in the COAG discussions, always understood by the states, and there was public commentary about the matter at the time. So the third was the average across Australia, and individual state figures vary depending on how much they spend on health and their per capita GST. But let's be really clear about this, Fran. What Tony Abbott is now saying he will do is he will wreck in the Parliament a reform that is going to give 1,300 additional hospital beds, 6,000 more doctors, 2,500 more aged care beds. Australians want more hospital beds. They want to be able to see a doctor more easily. So many communities are just crying out for more doctors, and people are well aware in communities of the shortages that they can face of aged care beds, and it's Tony Abbott that wants to take those things away from Australians. That's what he's saying in saying that he will oppose this bill, wrecking health reform for his political interest, not concerned at all for one moment about the national interest and about community members that want those hospital beds, want those doctors and want those aged care beds.
It's 8:17 on RM Breakfast. Our guest this morning is Prime Minister Julia Gillard. Prime Minister, you've agreed to bring forward the next ALP National Conference by 6 months, in part to facilitate debate on gay marriage. That's still more than a year away. How do you think you might keep a lid on this debate until then? And can you wait that long, really?
Fran, I determined to bring forward the ALP National Conference. It was my view that it's appropriate. We're a party of government and a party of ideas. In order for us to be a party of ideas, that we have the National Conference early in the life of the government. Many times National Conference has been held quite close to the election. Inevitably, that means National Conference is more about election scene setting than people being able to come and bring their ideas. I believe the Labor Party is a party of ideas, and people should be able to express them and debate them, and the National Conference is the right place to do that.
And then will you
so
respect
I've determined to have it, fairly soon in the life of the government, so it will be at the end of next year.
If the conference agrees on a new position on the issue of gay marriage to support the notion of gay marriage, will you support that in the Parliament?
Let's be clear about the role of the National Conference. Party of ideas, setting our platform, and then it's the Federal Parliamentary Labor Party, led by me, that determines the steps we will take to bring that platform to life. So we will be keeping those historic roles. That's absolutely right, that elected representatives should have that responsibility. But I do want to see people come to National Conference and debate ideas, and obviously we will have a debate about same-sex marriage, but I think we will have debates in a wide number of areas, and I think that's a good thing. We can be a party of ideas and a party of government at the same time, on with the job of governing, delivering our vision of Australia, whilst we are also debating ideas at our national conference.
On this particular debate, is your mind set on same-sex marriage, or would you change your position on that if your caucus and your national conference change its mind?
Fran, I've made my position clear. I do believe that in our society, with our heritage, with our traditions, with our history, that marriage has a special place and special definition. So I've been very clear about that. But I will also be saying to party members at our national conference that it is the right forum to be debating ideas about this topic and more broadly.
Prime Minister, last week in a speech you called for more time to get reform done. How much time do you need?
Fran, in that speech I was making the point that media commentators frequently write that they want to see long-term profound reform in our country. They say that perhaps in their Monday column, and then by the Saturday column they're saying, why haven't you got it done yet? And I was simply making the point, profound long-term reform can't be turned around for a 24-hour media cycle, a weekly media cycle, or even in the online environment for a 15-minute media cycle. Long-term reform takes patient work, and we will do it. And if you look at governments past, if you look at the opening up of our economy that the Hawke and Keating governments did, that was achieved over years, not over 15-minute news cycles and a couple of sound bites. So I'm just asking people to do a reality check. You can't ask for structural reform to our economy on a Monday and then toss your head on a Saturday because it's not done by then.
Did you raise expectations yourself, though, when you took over and declared that Labor had lost its way, when you took over the leadership and you promised to fix three big policy issues, mining tax, a price on carbon and asylum seekers before the election, or most of which still have a lot of friction within them? Did you raise expectations about getting reform done quickly? And I quote one of your MPs, Doug Cameron, in the newspaper today. He's quoted as saying that he's concerned Labor's taking too long to introduce its reforms.
Well, I don't agree with that, obviously. In each of the areas you nominate, we are on a path that will take us where we want to go. Look at the path we're on with pricing carbon, working through with the Multi-Party Climate Change Committee. This is a major structural reform for our economy to make sure that we continue to prosper in what will be a lower pollution future. We are working through with that committee. We've said we'll get that work done during the course of next year. That's appropriate. These things take methodical work, they take leadership, and I'm very happy to be providing both.
And just finally, Prime Minister, the commentary about the 24-hour news cycle is one you've made a few times now. Do you think the speed of the media cycle today is making it harder to govern or harder to govern well?
I think it makes it harder to have deep conversations. The reality is you can announce something quite important at 10 o'clock in the morning, and because people are reporting it instantaneously, even as you're saying it, by tweeting and the like, then by midday journalists are back saying, right, we're over that now, what's the next story? Well, explaining what we need to do to ready our economy for the challenges of the future, like making it a low pollution economy, like dealing with the infrastructure challenges of building the NBN, take more than 5 minutes of explanation. So, Fran, maybe it will mean that from time to time you and I argue about things, but I'm going to stick on the course of saying I've got a vision for this country. I'm going to get about day by day, step by step, delivering that vision. I'm not going to be spooked by media commentary into thinking I need to cobble something together for a 15-minute news cycle. I won't be diverted from the course I've set for myself, and that is I want to see this nation with a strong economy that's ready for the challenges of the future. I want to make sure we're genuinely giving opportunities to all Australians to prosper and succeed. There are too many kids, too many people who miss out today. We are going to be working on delivering better education, better health, better government for all to make sure they too are included in the life of our nation.
Prime Minister, thank you very much for joining us on Breakfast.
Thanks, Fran.
Prime Minister Julia Gillard in our Parliament House studio, and we continue to invite the opposition leader Tony Abbott onto the program. Hopefully he might join you before Parliament rises next week. It's 24 minutes past 8.